Welcome to the demonstration of maintenance of leased versus owned assets functionality of Daxeam, the enterprise asset management solution from Eclipse. In this scenario, the organization is both an asset owner and a service provider for other organizations. The maintenance data administrator will create an asset that is owned by a customer. We'll do that by accessing the Engineering Assets list page. We will create an asset by selecting the Engineering Asset button in the New Menu section of the action pane. We will enter the Engineering Asset number and choose the asset type. We will also choose third-party owned. We will choose the project contract ID, which is number 4, and the customer account that is also number 4, and the project group, which is time and materials. We will choose the inventory dimensions. The site will be Cooper's Range, and the warehouse will be 101. We will update the status to serviceable on this date. Let's view the details behind the project contract ID. We do that by highlighting, right-click, and viewing details. Notice that this takes us to the Projects module. Notice that the Contract ID is integrated to the Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 Projects module. We will now select the customer account. We'll highlight it, click right, and view details. Notice that the customer ID is linked to the Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 Sales and Marketing module. The customer will be invoiced based on the contractual agreement that was established. The invoices that will be generated through accounts receivable will include the time and materials cost of labor hours, inventory items, and expenses that have been charged to the work orders that have been generated against the assets that are being managed. Let's close this. We will now select an asset that is owned by the organization. We'll close this one. We will choose this haul truck. When we open the tab, the third-party owned option is not selected, and there is no project, contract ID, customer account, or project group. This asset is owned by the organization. The cost of hours, items, and expenses will be an internal charge within the organization. We'll close this view and review the engineering asset hierarchy. We will access the engineering asset hierarchy by selecting it on the main menu. This hierarchy is set up by site rather than organizational department. It gives a graphical view of the structures and installed assets within the hierarchy. We will install assets that have been set up to serviceable status and attach them to the hierarchy. We will do this by selecting the Design Mode button in the Maintain menu on the action pane. We will expand this hierarchy for Crimson Copper. We'll find the warehouse that we have just created. And we'll drag this over to the hierarchy. So the warehouse is now installed on the hierarchy. Let's review the dimensions. We have default dimensions that are set up on the top of the hierarchy. The planning group, the inventory dimensions that are merged, in the Detail Fast tab, we have a merged planning group, CC Resources. This comes from the setup, and it cascades down to the warehouse position. We set up inventory dimensions on the asset itself, but the merged inventory dimensions are also inherited from the Crimson Copper Minerals hierarchy. Let's close this. Next, we will attach an asset that is owned by the organization. We will expand Silver Valley. We will select Design Mode, and we will install Haul Truck 152. Into the mine pit under the haul trucks. Let's look at the dimensions. For this haul truck, there is a merged planning group that will be coming from Silver Valley. The inventory dimensions were set up on the asset as well as the parent position, Silver Valley. And that concludes our short presentation of leased versus owned assets functionality within Daxeam. If you would like to know more about Daxeam, the enterprise asset management solution for Microsoft Dynamics AX from Eclipse, please contact Eclipse today or visit our website.